Genderqueer Chat. It's Tuesday. I'm Stacy, and we have a viewer topic this week. So thank you, viewer, for the topic. And our topic is to discuss being genderqueer and feminism. So I'm going to start out by reading the Wikipedia definition of feminism. I'm just going to take the first sentence. I think it's a pretty good summary. So Wikipedia says, feminism is a collection of movements and ideologies aimed at defining, establishing, and defending equal political, economic, and social rights for women. Now, of course, there's a lot more to feminism, and there's a ton of history behind it, but I think that's a pretty good one-sentence summary of feminism. And, there's often the question, of who can be a feminist. And I think a lot of people have some old school views of feminists, thinking that there's just some brow-burning women out there and those are the feminists. But really, feminists are anyone who, believes in equal rights for women. So that includes women, that includes men, that includes genderqueers, that includes anyone on the gender spectrum. If anyone, believes in equal rights for women, then they can be a feminist. I think feminism all depends on your personal beliefs and actions. So, kind of bridging the subjects between feminism and genderqueer, my girlfriend said something pretty interesting earlier, so I want to share that with you. She said, and I quote, "Feminism and genderqueer are almost the same thing. It's about equality between genders." Now, I thought that was really interesting. I didn't even think about that or think of mentioning that. So I really kind of got excited about it, and I really wanted to share that here. I thought it was very insightful. Being genderqueer is not solely about, at least for me, it's not solely about equality between genders. Where feminism is a movement about for equality, equal rights for men and women. And, while genderqueer isn't necessarily a movement for equal rights across the genders, I think that it does play a part in it, though. For example, I'm going to rally for equal rights for all genders because I'm genderqueer, and even if I wasn't genderqueer, I probably would do that anyway because that's just who I am. But that's definitely a part of being genderqueer for me, is about, getting the same rights everyone else has, getting the same, I don't want to say validity, but it almost feels that way for me. I feel a lot of times like, that the more light I bring to being genderqueer, the more attention we can bring to just the gender spectrum itself. The more people who are made aware of it, the more people, the more people can be exposed to it, and maybe one day, hopefully, see everybody as equals, because I don't believe everybody thinks of it that way. There is a lot of inequality still between men and women, never mind anyone who falls outside of that binary. I'm not saying that I feel like I get paid any less, or that I get treated, any differently, or that I'm treated horribly, or anything like that for my gender. I'm just saying that, there's not a lot of awareness around it, and I feel the more awareness we have and the more that spreads, the more chances we have of having just equal opportunities for everybody, not just men and women, but everybody. So, I thought that was, again, something very interesting, because had my girlfriend not said that, I probably wouldn't have brought that up, so thank you. And personally, the term feminism itself kind of excludes non-binary, non-binary people, like I just said. Feminism, when I think of feminism, I think more about the equality between men and women. So it does tend to exclude anyone who falls outside of that binary. But to me, feminism at its heart is about just gender equality and opposing the patriarchy, which I'm all for that. I think one day I would like to see feminism evolve to a place where it is a movement about gender equality, no matter how you identify, just equality for all genders, even including people who identify as non-gendered or third gender, or just completely they don't want to identify as anything. It's just about, I think at its most evolved state, I would hope to see a point where we can have a movement where it's just about equality between people, gender aside. So that would be ideal, and I think we can get there, and I think that, there are, some people out there who definitely advocate for equality for all genders, but I don't think that is as, well, I know it's not as big of a movement as feminism. Feminism has tons of history and has got tons of attention, and I would like to see a point where just all genders, have that strong of a movement where everyone can just come together and just rally for human equality. So that's what I have to say about this topic, and hopefully that wasn't too confusing or repetitive. I was just kind of going on a tangent there, but we don't really have a bonus topic this week, so I'm going to make one up. And my bonus topic, just because I want to, I just like talking about personal stuff sometimes, so my bonus question is going to be, what do you miss the most about being a kid? So probably the fact that I didn't have to go to work. That's pretty cool. That was awesome. I totally should have taken advantage of that. I didn't know, how good I had it not having to go in to a 9 to 5 every day, but I did have to go to school, and I'm not a big fan of our current education system or the structure around it, so I was not a big fan of school. Like, I'm a big fan of learning. I always have been a big fan of learning, but the structure of the American school system, it never jived with me. I just can't get over that, where you're forced to cram a lot of information into your head, some of it really useless, and have standardized testing and all that other stuff, and, I'm more for an, I don't know, open education system, I guess, where people, sorry, I dropped something, where people can, just kind of learn the basics and then learn what interests them and can kind of exclude everything else. But that's, my utopia for education, and who knows if that's even good in the long run. I don't know, but yeah, so that's probably what I miss the most about being a kid, is not having to go to work and having summer vacation. That was awesome. That was really cool. I think if I told my work that I was just going to take the whole summer off, I probably would get laughed at. And I can't really blame them, but, you really don't get that amount of time off. I wish I could have taken advantage of it. I would have done a lot more with my summers, other than just like reading and bike riding and getting into trouble. I probably would have done a lot more, but I was a kid. So, alright, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you guys have a great have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next Tuesday.